Dear students, Assalamu alaikum. Today we will learn the first equation of motion. The relation for the first equation of the motion. How can we derive the relation for the first equation of motion? As we know, the first equation of motion is equal to Vf is equal to Vi plus At. Vf final velocity, Vi is initial velocity, and A is acceleration, and T is the time interval in which the velocity is changing. So let or suppose a body is moving suppose a body is moving suppose a body is moving with a initial velocity initial velocity vi, means a body is moving with an initial velocity vi and undergoes and undergoing uniform acceleration undergoing uniform acceleration a for a time interval of t, for a time interval means t is a time interval, and its final velocity becomes Vf, and its final velocity becomes Vf. Its final velocity becomes Vf. A body is moving with an initial velocity. Vi is the initial velocity, undergoing uniform acceleration, and it is converting its initial velocity into final velocity, and the acceleration is undergoing acceleration is changing. So the acceleration produced when the velocity changes means body is moving with initial velocity, and it is gaining the final velocity, means it is changing from vi to vf. So the acceleration is producing in a time interval t. So as we know change in velocity is equal to Vf minus Vi, means we can acquire the change in velocity means the velocity is changing from Vf to Vi. So the velocity we can gain from Vf to Vi means Vf will be subtracted from the Vi. Vf final velocity will be subtracted from the initial velocity. So this is the change in velocity. This is actually the change in velocity. But if here is the time interval in which the velocity is changing, so change in velocity in unit time will be Vf minus Vi in unit time, means with respect to time, Vf minus Vi upon t with respect to time. As we know, the change in velocity means rate of change of velocity is called acceleration of the body, acceleration A of the body. So change in unit time is equal to the acceleration of the body, and acceleration is equal to Vf minus Vi upon t. This term will be equal to the acceleration of the body because change in velocity with respect to time is called acceleration. So we put the value acceleration, change in velocity in unit time here. Acceleration will be equal to the vf minus vi upon t. We have put the acceleration instead of this sentence because the sentence equal to the acceleration of the body. Change in velocity is called acceleration of the body, and vf minus vi upon t is the formula of acceleration. Vf minus vi upon t, initial velocity minus final velocity. So final velocity minus initial velocity with divided by time gives the acceleration of the body. So from this relation we can get vf will be equal to, here v subtracted, when we will transfer v on the other side it will be added to the acceleration, and t here is divided by t. So t, when we shift the t in this side, the t will be multiplied by the acceleration. So the final velocity becomes v I plus at. So this is the first equation of motion. This is the first equation of motion. Thank you. In next video we will learn the second equation of motion. Thank you.